Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. VTP Stage 2 Online Technical Tuesday Coaching Call 194 for 2nd of June 2026. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a good start to the week. Hope you're ready for another interesting and eventful week ahead. As always, you're very welcome here. Just remember that you are always responsible for your own trading decisions. Okay, so plugin, there we go. And there on the STAM plugin there, we can see that we can see that Kiwi dollar has powered its way to the top, which is quite some move, and Japanese yen remains right there at the bottom of the pile. No massive shock there, is it? Okay, so let us start with we're going to focus on FX. So let's have a look at dollar. So I've got Aussie dollar on the daily, Euro dollar on the daily, pound dollar on the daily, dollar Swiss on the daily, Kiwi dollar daily, dollar CAD, dollar yen, and of course the dollar index. All right, so as always, we'll start with the dollar index here. Let's bring it up, and of course we're starting to new month, and I mentioned this yesterday. If we look at the monthly candle for the dollar index, that is a small bullish inside bar. The month before was a larger bearish inside bar, after the large candle that we saw for March. All right, so to me, that's there's contraction going on there, isn't it? There is, we are contracting. Okay, so I'm looking at, well, okay, what is going to make the dollar, what's going to make the dollar explode? We've got contraction. The expression is it just contracting because actually everybody's had such a volatile first 6-7 months? Everybody just wants a summer holiday. Everybody's just fed up. Everybody's just tired. Everybody's just burnt out. Okay, and they're just like, well, everything's just contracting until September. Or is it because we're going to have a catalyst? Maybe the SpaceX will be the catalyst of giddiness. Maybe there will be a non-expected turn in the US-Iran war. I don't know at this particular moment, but I do like monthly candles, all right, because especially when you look at that, you start to sort of take a bit of a note and say, well, hang on a minute, I should be getting ready to watch this. If we look at this on the weekly chart, it's a scruffy old chart now, isn't it? But it's if I look at this, this here was that there was Venezuela. That's the start of the war. That's the talk about ending the war. That's the ceasefire. That's the ceasefire's off. All right, that's what we've just been living with all year. The way I look at it is at the moment, we're above the 50 and the 20, but at the moment that looks like it's building a 3-bar breakout there. Okay, that's what it's looking like. That building diamonds in the middle of nowhere, really, in the middle of nowhere. All right, nothing really there I see there that gets me excited. Okay, nothing gives me any real indication. The only thing on the daily chart is look at how the last couple of weeks, look at that. That's just bang. It's just doing nothing really. Okay, that is just real war on, war off. What the hell is going on? Yes, we are sat above the daily 50. Yes, the daily 20 is sloping up. Okay, but my view is there needs to be a catalyst. Maybe this week the jobs numbers will be really, really bad. Okay, maybe some of the US numbers will be really bad, and that will be a catalyst. We shall see. I think analysts are worried that we're going to see rising inflation and a cooling jobs market, which is the kind of the worst of both scenarios. Okay, and if we see that, well, that doesn't bode well. All right, for markets for the rest of the year, or rather, it doesn't bode well if you're hoping for quiet, calm markets. All right, it'll just be more volatility. But certainly, when I look at the dollar index there, that it is what it is. It's the 50's holding support, but it needs something to get it to break out there, doesn't it? It just there's nothing really exciting going on there. If we look at a couple of the others, well, we'll look at Aussie and Kiwi. But one of the things we talked about yesterday is Canadian dollar has been kind of it's gone into recession, and if we look at that, if the last month, that is dollar strength against that Canadian dollar, but it's ended it with a big bearish engulfing candle, key reversal candle there, isn't it? All right. So once to score that pushing up there, you'd have maybe expected it to sort of at the 200 to sort of drift, but it's not, and that's kind of maybe that reflection of this week, that kind of a little bit of more Canadian weakness, all right, a bit more Canadian weakness there. That's what I kind of see in there, and it's reflected on that STAM. It's it's the bottom of the pole of the STAM. If we look at the euro, as I said, if you look at that for this, from where we popped up, right? From where we popped up to, that kind of 120 number, we didn't stay there at all, and then collapsed all the way down to like 114, all right, 600 pips, bouncing back up to 118, and then working our way down. Once again, I look at that as you've got the 20, the 50, and price all there, okay, in close proximity. And you hear me say this all the time, is that, when price and the moving averages are all together coiled up, it's like trying to push two north ends of magnets together. They just repel each other, okay. This has got the opposite of the dollar index that we've looked at, as in, it's been in a block there for a couple of weeks, sat now beneath the 50, beneath the 200, the 20 sloping down as well. So, with that, you'd be looking for continued euro weakness, wouldn't you? We know the euro is weak, in which case you'd be looking for that to work its way lower, which would, you'd think, well, it's going to do that because the dollar's going to strengthen. And then you're like, well, what would make the dollar strengthen? That's the thing you could look at. But at the moment, I just see that that's going sideways, and as I said, maybe everybody is just tired and burnt out. Everybody's just fed up. They've had like six odd months of madness. All right, war on, war off, risk on, risk off, and markets just swung all over the place. All right, and certainly FX markets, equity markets continue to plow higher. There's been some stunning moves in some of those tech stocks and space stocks, etc. And so everybody's just like, do you know what? I just want my summer off now. You get to it. You might think I'm being a little bit facetious, but actually, even with the algos, all right, running the world, markets still reflect human psychology. Okay, and humans get burnt out. Humans want a break. Humans want a holiday. And I wonder if we start to get into that kind of mentality.